And we're back out in the Montana garage. When I say we, you got me, of course, your handsome, funny, good-looking host, Brad. And of course, the real star of the show, Moose. Moose hasn't been around for the last couple of videos. I don't know, he's just been out chasing mice or whatever it is cats do. I think he thinks I don't pay him enough to be the star of a big time YouTube show. So we're gonna work out our contract differences. I don't know, maybe I'll get him some fancier cat food or get him his own special dressing room or something like that, but I'll make sure that he's around in the next few videos. See, look at that, there he is, trying to get in the shot. Had to climb up on the car. Oh, now you're gonna ignore us, huh? He can't decide if he wants to be a star or just wants to be a pain in the butt. So as I said in my last video, I'm right where I left off like, I don't even know, 6 weeks ago. Haven't even cleaned up the mess. Gas is expensive, but likes are free. Hit the little button. Last video, we worked on the 57 a little bit, or played with that. So if you haven't watched that, check it out. Hopefully I can put a link up there somewhere. But today we're getting back to work on the 55. People keep asking me, you're still trying to go to Rocky Mountain Race Week? And I don't know. I haven't totally given up hope, but we're looking at like 75 days as of today. And I'm about where I was when we had 140 days, so I've used up half my time and haven't done any work. It's not looking likely, but I haven't given up hope. I have a little bit of time coming up with some time off from work. I think I could buckle down and get some stuff done, but there's always a but, right? Kind of the thing that held me up is I had other stuff to do, but I had some plans or some. Look at that, Moose is climbing into the 57. You going in there taking that, buddy? He's just going there to get cat hair on everything. Don't worry, I'll clean it up later. I got you. Anyways, one of the things that kind of held me up here is I thought I had a plan with some finances to get some parts ordered, and that didn't shake out how I thought it was gonna. I haven't been able to order my Ford 9-inch or my roll bar or my wiring harness. Those are some of the bigger things I needed to get coming. The rear end is like 8 weeks away. I think Rocky Mountain Race Week is like 10 weeks away right now. So maybe I could still make it if I found a way to get that ordered. But I don't want to sacrifice the quality of my build just to kind of, you know, meet a deadline. And I'm just on the wait list, so I probably won't get to do it anyways. But I'm still going to try. I'm not giving up. Long story short, it's not looking promising. I'm not giving up. I'm still going to get the car together as quickly as I can. So for today, if you recall in the last few videos, there was a video of me struggling mightily to get the transmission installed. And I was saying, oh, I got to do it again from underneath the car because I'm getting a new bell housing. Well, the bell housing showed up. And as you see, the car is, well, it's not on the frame. So before I put the car on the frame, obviously I'm going to redo this. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to work on changing that bell housing. I still have to get the headers painted. I can tell you guys the story behind why I have this crap sticking out of my header. We'll get onto that here in a little bit. So basically all the stuff I said like 6 weeks ago that I was gonna do. Let's get to work. Funny story about the bell housing down here. It's a Lakewood scatter shield, I guess you call it. Probably overkill and maybe I don't need it, and it was freaking expensive. But like I've said before, I plan on drag racing this thing, and I think once you go quicker than 1149, you have to have that. It may not be that quick right now. This isn't gonna be like some super fast Street Outlaws thing, but I'd like to make it in eventually someday like a 10-second car. So stuff like that, and the roll bar, drive shaft loop, those are things I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna just kind of incorporate it now as I'm building. But the funny story about that is I ordered this thing back in January from Summit. They said it would ship end of January. Then I got a notification near the end of January that it's still on back order to ship middle of March. Well, middle of March came and went and I didn't hear nothing. So I called or emailed Summit. They told me it was gonna ship April 25th or something like that. And this was a few weeks ago. I'd kind of decided, you know, I was waiting this long, I might as well wait a little bit before I put the body on because this is coming and I'll do the transmission, then we'll paint the firewall and get the blow, whatever. I was waiting, or I figured I've just incorporated that in the process where I could get this done before I put the body on. Well, I didn't want to wait another whole month, you know, till the end of April. Started doing some more searching for the bell housing, and I found one, a different one on Jegs. When I was initially searching, I didn't see this specific part number. Or actually, I think they show it on Summit as a different part number, but the description is exactly the same thing, only it costs like almost $100 more. So I was like, well, that's no good. I'm not buying the more expensive one. But I found it on Jegs, and the difference is this one is Tri-5 specific. So what's that mean? Well, it seems like it means a couple things. It has mounts on the side of the bell housing here, the scatter shield for the side engine mounts that used to be on the car. I'm not using those, don't need them, but that's there. And the other thing that it has is the spot for the clutch ball bracket. So that goes on there the other way, obviously. So right here, like this has. But if you remember, I spent a whole video making this contraption because I didn't think it had those holes. Turns out it does. Now I still would have had to modify it because I've moved the engine 3/4 forward. And to be honest with you, I don't know if these mounts make the engine sit differently because you can see where it was before. What do I do with it? So it would have been you know, like an inch lower. I don't know. I did all this. I hope it's gonna work. I'm gonna stick with this, even though, like I said, the new Bellhousing has the mounts. And then once I started looking around, it looked like even the one I ordered before may have had those bolt holes there. I guess I just didn't look at the picture that closely before. But I have one on my 57 and it doesn't have that stuff. So I guess I assumed none of them did. 57 actually has, is a secret, don't tell anybody. It's got a Ford transmission in it. It's got a Ford top loader in it. So maybe the Bellhousing is some sort of Ford contraption, so that's why it doesn't have it. I don't know. Seems like it's got a lot more holes on it. I don't know. I can't remember if there's some sort of adapter plate to mount the Ford transmission to the Chevy block, if the Bellhousing is different because of that. Anyways, I don't know. I guess I really don't care. And you probably don't care either. Why am I rambling on about this? Let's put it on. You guys have seen a lot of this before. Obviously, I had most of a video about trying to put this transmission in. There'll be a lot of fast motion, and I'll try to skip through most of it, give you kind of an overview of what we got going on here. I will bring you back in if there's a whole bunch of struggling. If the transmission fights me like it did before, I will definitely use some all-thread rods, you know, to kind of help guide it in. Lots of you guys told me that trick. Let's get this tore out and see if we can move forward, finally. I hope it's okay to get a little bit of blood on your flywheel. If you slip and you hit your knuckle on the ring gear, yeah, that's not good. So at this point, I'm installing the backing plate. Just got setting on the dowel pins here. I got one bolt in there just to kind of hold it in place while I get the flywheel back on. I guess I got to go through the hole. Should I reuse these flywheel bolts? Debate, but I'm using them. I guess I can use this to... Flywheel is on. We'll grab a rag and some brake cleaner. Clean my blood and a little bit of grease off here. Blood is stubborn. All right, so at this point, you should check the Bellhousing for run out or make sure it's centered. I don't know what it's called, alignment, check the alignment. I don't have a dial indicator. I just made a couple calls, nobody's got one. Close that I can find. Probably should have one, but I don't. I've never aligned them before. I know you're supposed to, but I'm probably gonna skip it. You can light me up in the comments later and let me know that that's a bad idea, but I think most of the time they're good to go, so we're gonna assume or hope. And you know, I guess if it's not good to go and it gives us grief, we'll do it again later. Pressure plate is back on, torque down, and my cheap little plastic clutch alignment tool goes in and out like butter. Now a couple guys said that I need to get rid of the cheap plastic alignment tool and get an actual shaft because it's better. And I believe that's probably true, but I still don't have one. So we're going with this, and I'm sure the struggle will ensue shortly. So here's the Bellhousing, Lakewood SFI scatter shield. I went ahead and got a Lakewood clutch fork as well. And then this is the throwout bearing that came with the clutch kit. Now, I said in the previous video that I think my other throwout bearing was longer in this dimension like that. I'm actually not sure about that because the one I have over here in my pile, I guess, is from the 57. So it was longer. But again, it's got that Ford transmission in it, so I don't know if there's something weird. For some reason, I can't find the original clutch out of the 55. I think it was a longer one too. I found some instructions on the Ram website that might give me an idea before I put this all together if this short throwout bearing is gonna work. Once I get the Bellhousing on here, and then you kind of apply some pressure and put the throwout bearing against the fingers of the pressure plate, and then you can tell by the angle of the clutch fork if I should have a longer throwout bearing. So we'll throw this on here, and then we'll look at those instructions, see if we can't figure that out so I can at least get at least one thing right before I put it together so I don't have to do it again. So the Bellhousing came with a bunch of fasteners. These ones have bolts, nuts, and lock washers. So I'm assuming those are the ones that are designed to bolt the backing plate to the pressure plate, or to the backing plate to the bell housing down here. So then we have the bolts that go into the block, and for those they gave me Allen heads, and these ones don't have any nuts, so I assume the theory is these go into the block and these are for that part. Just a little worried about having room if I have to take this apart to get these Allen heads out of here, because I won't be able to use a wrench. Sometimes you gotta dive in from the top or from underneath and get a wrench on them. I almost feel like I'd rather have the regular bolts up here. Well, hopefully I'm not screwing up. I have some other grade 8 bolts the right size from when I had the other bell housing on. I think I'm gonna use these, at least on these upper ones. So then I have the option of getting a wrench or a socket on them. Hopefully I'm not making a mistake and that it's gonna be easier to get the Allen thing in there, but I don't know, it's just hard to tell when I'm doing this with nothing. There's nothing in my way, so it's easy right now, but once the car's on here, the body's on here, and I have to pull this back out from underneath, I guess then I'll find out if I screwed up, and if I screwed up, well, I guess the motor's coming out too to get the tranny out. So I guess we're at the part where the struggling ensued last time. I'm gonna try to just muscle it in there like I did before, without any kind of pins or rods or guides or whatever. I'm not gonna struggle for an hour like I did last time. I'm gonna try to get it in there. If I can't get it in, then I have some 1/2" all thread, and I will make some guides to go in there. Let's give it a try. All right, here we go. Let's make some guides, I guess. Well, same story. See, I got the sweatshirt off because I'm sweating. I'm breathing hard because I'm old and out of shape, but it's fighting again. I got some long bolts on this side. Got actually the transmission bolts on this side. I tried to use some all thread, but it hits other stuff. So it's close, but just like it was before, last 3/8 of an inch, it just won't like line up with that pilot. In and out, wheel around. I think when I got it before, I actually was twisting the transmission back and forth. So I'll probably try taking the bolts back out because they don't seem to be making it magically easy. We'll keep fighting and we'll come back. Yeah, the old twist and rotate did the trick. Still was a battle, but not near as bad as last time. Whew, isn't building hot rods fun? Transmission installed. We got to put the transmission cross member in, and then we're back to where we started. Moose here is done getting cat hair on the 57. He thought he'd come supervise. Try to get a little cat hair on my sweatshirt. Getting the cross member in. Got to crawl under here and see if I can line these up. I don't know what you guys are looking at. Probably nothing worth showing you. Whoops. All right, this looks like a two-hand operation, and Moose probably isn't gonna help, so I gotta put you guys down. All right, back to where we were. I even got virtually the same mess still. It is the next day and I am back out in the Montana garage. 2 days in a row. I told you I was getting serious about this. My battery in the camera, of course, died yesterday when I tried to kind of do my recap of what we accomplished. So let's do that real quick. So after a couple hours, we're right back to where we were when we started yesterday. Transmission's back installed, only this time with the Lakewood scatter shield. Kind of wish I would have painted the transmission red now. But hopefully it's in there to stay. I know I should have made sure the bell housing was aligned right. I probably should have gone through my transmission because it has a issue with popping out of second gear. Maybe because the bell housing was never aligned. Maybe because the transmission needs work. In the end, it actually worked. I could drive it. I just have to hold it in gear. So I'm gonna just go with that for now, obviously. That part's done. Let's get this mess cleaned up, and then we'll figure out why I got a bunch of crap sticking out of my header. I haven't had any haters in the comments for a while, so I thought I'd get down on my hands and knees and sweep the floor. That usually brings out the people that aren't afraid to tell me how stupid I am for doing it that way. I know there's faster, better ways to do it, but hey, that gets it clean. Plus, I wanted a reason to use my new official Montana Garage hand broom. Big block powered, 454 with the dice even. This is from Carmelo, a viewer who sent me a few different things. This is now the official Montana Garage broom. No matter how big of a mess or how much it needs swept up, I'm never gonna use kitchen broom or a push broom. Always only the official Montana Garage hand broom on my hands and knees. Just kidding, I use a push broom too, but this gets the fine stuff when I wanna get it clean. Anyways, thanks again, Carmelo. Maybe you noticed when I moved the chassis here, I still have to do it with the jack because the old wheels still don't roll. I haven't changed them yet, and these ones, if you watch the video when I put the front end together, the rims interfere with the drop spindles. So it's a dragger, lift and drag, and then you can move it wherever you want, so that's convenient. The other thing I noticed as I was cleaning up my mess is I have the shifter here in the back of the 55 in the trunk, which is fine. I took it apart and cleaned it up and, you know, painted the base of it or whatnot. The only problem is I have no recollection where I put all the bushings and clips and the bolts that bolt it to the transmission. So I'm sure I put it in a safe spot right in this general area. So yeah, I get a hunt for that eventually. All right, so what's the dealio with the header? Why do I got all this crap? Like, I have a ginormous screwdriver, and I'm pretty sure this is a sawed off pool cue. Or no, it's either a pool cue or a broom handle. I used to have a sawed-off pool cue beside my driver's seat when I lived in California when I was in the Army. Well, you never know when you might need a chunk of sawed-off pool cue to defend, or just to have, you know, you know what it was for. Just in case, I guess that's what it was for. Anyways, I think this actually looks like a broom handle. Regardless, back to the moral of the story. So the reason that stuff is there, I got this header down because I was getting ready to clean it up and paint it, and I happened to just take a peek in the hole there, and I could see sunshine shining through. So if you look right here, well, you can see it. There is a big hole there. So the reason for the crap sticking out of the back of the header is I have a flattened piece of copper pipe jammed up against there in hopes that when I try to weld it, it's not just gonna totally burn it through. I don't have it, it's not like super, it's pretty tight against there, but it could be a little tighter, but that's the best I could do with my skills of trying to figure out a way to put some backer on there. So we got to try to weld that up. I really don't want to spend $500 or whatever it is on new headers, so hopefully I can make that work. It's just it's in kind of a bad spot. I'm kind of a bad welder, and it's in kind of a bad spot, so it's not looking good. We're gonna try to zap that full, or zap that closed, and then there's a little corrosion right there. There's a double layer there, obviously, but maybe we'll try to buzz that in. So we're gonna try to do that, and then if we can save them, then we'll clean them up and paint them. If I screw it all up, well, then I guess we got to get some new ones. Let me dig my welder out and unbury my welding table, and we'll see if we can't probably make this a little worse. I remember now. That is broom handle. My piece of pool cue that I used to carry beside my seat many, many moons ago when I was in California is now in my daughter's car because she's in New York. Just a little extra protection in case somebody's going to roll up on you or something, right? You never know what you might need. So I was like, where's my pool cue that I thought that was, but now I remember where it is. All right, so I got the welding table dug out, and it looks like it needs cleaned off. What could I possibly use to clean it off? The Montana Garage hand broom. Look at there. Perfect. All right, so I've already scraped and wire wheeled and did the best I could to try to clean this up. I'm just hitting it again real quick. I can't really scrape down here too hard because it just bends the metal in. But I don't know, it like look super clean, but you get in there just a little further. All I can really do is scrapey. Well, they look a little cleaner now. All right, so let's grab the welder and see what happens. I'm not feeling super confident about this. I mean, the metal is just so thin, and it's actually a pretty big little hole to weld in once you get to looking in there. I got the welder set up pretty cold. Oh yeah, that just went right through. Got one little bead there. Try to build off of. Glasses are fogging up inside my little welding mask. Trey, my son, has my welding hood at school because he's in a welding class and his quit working on it. So I got this little weld mask thing here for when I was welding inside the car, like up under the dash and stuff. It's nice because you can get into more spaces, but no matter how I adjust that, I feel like I get a little bit of flash, like it delays too much. One time it felt like it didn't even come on, so my eyes are all can't see shiz right now. Well, it's not pretty, but I think we're getting there. I'm getting like the wire stuttering again. Oh, dang it. God dang it. Now it's just acting weird. All I'm doing is piling big ugly freaking weld in there. I don't really care what it looks like. I'm just trying to get this weld off the front because I got to get way to the back now. Should have done the back first, but I wanted to get the easy part where I can see how the welder's working. No, it's not working with a strap. Now I got to stick the wire way in there. All right, welding advice. Don't take it from me, but I put a new tip in. It's working a lot better. And the biggest thing I think I had going on is I had this roller in my welder because I'm using 030. It says 030045, but it's knurled. And I just recently learned that is for flux core wire. That's for flux core wire. I don't know if I lost it. I don't think I had one. I got an 025 and 035, so I put the 035 smooth in and cranked it down a hair more. No, I was at least able to run a couple beads on some practice pieces without it. Which is what it was doing when I was trying to weld up the header. So let's get back to work and try again. Now the problem is I gotta get way up in there. Can't get any light on it. Can't see nothing. Don't know what I'm doing. That's nice when it welds without skipping the wire. I gotta get back there first. I'm never gonna be able to get to it once I put a bead in. I kinda wanted to have a bead to start with, but I gotta get 8 miles of wire out and hope and pray. Now this is working much better after the welder adjustment. Hopefully I got the very far part. I think I did. I cannot believe how much better the welder worked once I switched that drive roller. If you have been around the channel for a while and you watched a video quite a while ago, maybe over a year ago, when I put this guy in here, man, I was fighting with the welder. It was just like that, and I could not get it to work. Seems like since then, my brain isn't that great, so I can't remember. It seems like I did something that I thought was making it work better, because I actually bought a Magnum gun liner. So I have a new liner for the torch cable or whatever it's called. But I seemed like I got it working better, so I decided I didn't need that. But the last few times I welded again, I've been fighting with that. Man, I think it was just because I had that knurled knob in there. So if you're having that problem, make sure you're not using the knurled knob. You guys have all heard of Steve Darnell, the welder up guy. He's got an internet welding course, and I signed up for that. That's where I learned that the knurled thing is for the flux core wire. Maybe everybody else out there already knows that, but I didn't know that. So let's take a quick peek of what we got. It's not pretty, but it was so hard to get way back in there. I don't know what you guys can see. So I got to pull this crap out of here and look and hope and pray that I can't see any light coming in, because if I missed the spot way back in there, I can't get to it. I'll have to grind this out and try again. And then if you remember, there was this little weird spot right here. Actually, it looked just like this one does. This was the weirdest stuff. I scraped it, you know, the best I could. But when I would weld that, you can kind of see the little cavity it left there. It was just like welding, like it was like my gas was off. My gas is on, I could hear the gas coming out of the torch, but it would like the weld was all weird and sputtery, and then it would kind of grow. I don't know if you guys have ever welded when you ran out of gas. It looked just like that. I think it's just because there was so much rust and stuff. So I'm gonna try to do this one too, but I'm gonna try to grind it out a little better and see if that makes a difference. But first, let's pull this out of here and see if we actually plug the hole. Show you what all I got going on in here. Somehow this clamp kind of held it all in place. We got, oop, we're gonna fall down. Hang on. Ginormous screwdriver, broken broom handle, and the thing that I was mostly trying to get in there, I don't know what you're looking at because I sat you down and I got both hands on the header, fighting with it, and the C-clamp. It's just me fighting with the C-clamp, so if you don't see it, you're not missing much. So that's what I had in there. I kind of formed it to fit up in the tube, and then you can see right there where the weld, hopefully it probably helped a little bit. It's just a flat piece of copper pipe. I had it like screwed in a spot when I was doing the trunk when I don't know how to weld now, but I really didn't know how to weld then, and I was blowing through, and then somebody told me to put a copper backer rod because my gap was a little too big and it helped. Anyways, let's see if it worked. Oh boy, I don't see any light. I got my light shining right in that cavity. Before I could just look in there and see light. So, you know what I like to say, by golly, I think we fixed it. All right, I brought you guys a little closer, but hopefully not close enough that I'm gonna get sparks all over my camera. I'm gonna try to show you what the weld is doing when I pile that on there. Make sure I didn't turn my gas off now after I was done with that one. Oh, it's open, it's on. I got gas in there. You can actually hear the gas coming out of here. The other thing it did, it took forever, like it wasn't grounded. I had to keep moving the ground around. You like that, I'm not getting any. Weirdest thing. See how weird that is? Look how weird that weld is. It's just like, to me it seems just like when you're welding and you run out of gas. So I think it's just because this is all rusty and kind of weird metal. I'm going to try to grind it up a little bit better and see if that makes a difference. So the problem is there's just like no real metal left. I mean, you can't get, except for on this very edge, I got a little metal color. The rest of it's all, I think it's just so rusty. Now I got into this cavity here though, so I need to try to make sure I get that closed up. Fill it in the best we can. I mean, we did it up here, it just looks funky. So we'll try again. Yeah, this is so weird. You guys probably can't see it from over there. It's like I gotta burn through that rusty layer a little bit. Those them fumes aren't very good for me. Alright, I think I can keep casing that forever, or I can stop right there. Bring you over to take a look. Alright, so there we have it after wire wheeling. I actually had to hit it a little bit more. But it's just, I think this is what, the porosity, I don't know. It's just the way you see like that little hole right there. Whenever you're done welding, the weld just kind of grows, like you can see that one there, the weld, it's just the weirdest thing. It's got to be because the metal was so rusty and nasty. So I don't even know if those are going to hold or what, but we're going to call it fixed for now and hope for the best. I'm not going to grind them off or nothing. Header's fixed. Fixed. Kind of fixed. I think it's fixed. Fixed enough. It'll work, maybe. Transmission's installed. Mess is cleaned up. I made another mess, but we'll deal with this later. I'm really stoked that I can maybe actually weld now. It's gonna be great. I'm excited to come out and do some more welding. But that's what we're gonna call this video. Thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. I really appreciate all the comments and the thumbs up and all that good stuff. Come back soon. We'll be painting, well, these and those and hopefully the firewall.